Hello, welcome to Blue Rose Podcast. This is episode 55, Spirituality, God, and Me. Blue Rose Podcast is dedicated to women seeking answers, spiritual answers, what's next answer, career answers. Anything that I think women over 55 are thinking about, we talk about. I know that's a pretty broad theme, but that's how I roll. And I try to keep these talks under 20 minutes. Today, I want to talk to you about God. You know that, and not really God as much as religion. Religion has baffled me through the years. I was raised Catholic. My mother was a catechism teacher. We went to church every Sunday until they moved it to Saturday, every Saturday until I was old enough to say, I'm done. I'm good with this. And I've wrestled with the belief in God, and I've wrestled with religion. Because, and this could be controversial, and it's not intended to, it's more to have a dialogue, a discussion. And if you're watching this on YouTube, let me know what you think. Comment. If you're watching this on my podcast channel, on iTunes or Spotify, let me know, because I'm curious to see if anybody else is wrestling with this. Again, I was raised Catholic, but I was raised, I don't know where I picked it up, but I decided at some point that God was used as a tool, that God was used as a way to hold us down, to hold me back, that if I did this or that, God would get mad. If this happened or that happened, God would get upset. But yet I was going through all this trauma, so I'm thinking, well, God must be really mad because all this stuff is swirling around me. And of course, I felt like I was to blame for all of it. So that must make me a bad person. And I've never really thought religion was meant to do that. I've never believed that God was here as a negative. I've always viewed God as a positive, but I've struggled with believing. I've always believed that there has to be something more, because there's truly universal powers. What you think about, you bring about. If you sit around and focus on one thing wholeheartedly, that will show up in your pathway. It may not at that moment, but it will when you're ready for it. So I know there's a greater power, and I know there's a space in between that we can't see in the fabric. And I know that God came to us for love. It wasn't like God set up the system and said, you know what, if you follow these 6 steps, you can believe it, you can believe in me. God was, I believe in you and I love you. And I hope you believe in me, but I'm going to do all this stuff to prove that I exist. But I struggled with that. And I so badly, and I'm 63 and I so badly want to believe, but I never could really allow myself. But I've asked a million questions. I've read philosophers. I've read all the different religions. I just struggled with that part until I finally realized, whatever happened, whether it was in catechism or church or, the crazy Catholic priest, I don't know. But you can't let their belief system or any of that determine your belief system. Either you believe or you don't believe. And when you're spiritual, either you believe in this higher power or you don't. And I absolutely believe in a higher power. I think that everything happens for a purpose. I was just, I know somebody that just kind of broke their foot, and their father, who's passed away, broke his foot about the same time a couple years ago. And she was musing on Facebook going up, I wonder what? There's always patterns. God always leaves breadcrumbs for us to try to put meaning. And when you see a pattern, it's a message telling us, look, what is the pattern? What are we supposed to know? What are we supposed to learn by that? And, some of us pay attention and learn, and some of us kind of look at it and shrug our shoulders. If you don't follow the patterns grow bigger and bigger until you do. It's like a smack on the head with a fish. Eventually, the higher power, who we're going to call God, is going to be like, come on, I've given you message after message. Now I have to smack you in the nose so you pay attention. Follow the breadcrumbs. And if you struggle with God, that's okay. Because, there's Buddha, there's Allah, there's all kinds of religions. But you can just believe there's a higher power. You can believe and know that you're meant for greatness, and opportunities will be placed in your pathway, and it's up to you to read the messages. What are you supposed to be reading? I've been asking for a lot of messages lately, and asking for signs on this. I just joined a direct marketing company, Beyuna, and Beyuna, and I had asked for messages beforehand to make sure it was the right path for me, because I know that when you're on the right path, when you're following your way, a road will be open for you. Things will become easier and less hassle. If your life is one big, huge struggle, and I know because I've been there, and I blamed a lot of it on God. It's like, well, God, you're supposed to do all this stuff for me. Until I realized, well, not so much. He'll show you or she'll show you. Still not buying into the male portion of God, just because I'm a little bit more of a feminist than that. But he'll help you along your path, but it's your path. I mean, I've seen people sit in church and they'll pray every week, and they'll read the Bible every morning and every night, and they can quote scripture, and yet they have nothing. And they'll look at me and say, well, God doesn't want me to have anything. Well, God wants you to have everything you want. But if you are happy with what you don't have, then you're going to get a lot more if you don't have. And it's hard for people to understand that. What you think about, you bring about. If you believe in all your power that you're meant for greatness, you're going to be great. I mean, how do you think these basketball players are great, and these artists and these painters and these musicians and these speakers and Amy Porterfield and Gabrielle Bernstein and Marie Forleo? Because they believed and they knew they had a message. Everybody has a purpose. And I feel so bad when I get on Facebook and somebody posts, what's your purpose? And 50 people say, I don't know what it is. We make it too hard. It's what comes easy to you. What do you love doing? That's how God helps us find our purpose. What do you love doing? So I know I started with my struggles with God, and I'm kind of over to purpose. Whatever you believe in, believe. Don't let the prescripts of religion get in your way. Don't let childhood stories get in your way of religion. I went to a funeral when I was very young. I was probably, I think, in second grade. The twins got ran over by a school bus. I know how random, and passed. And I remember sitting at the funeral thinking, how do they know they're dead? And not one person would answer that question for me. Because I looked at my mom and said, how do they know they're dead? And she, I asked the priest, how do you know they're dead? What are you saying that? Of course they're dead. Well, I don't know that. I'm 6 years old. I don't know that they're dead. And yeah, I started first grade when I was 5. I didn't know. That haunted me for years. I'm not lying to you. I had nightmares for years about being buried alive because nobody would answer that question. So I finally was in there one day back when I was in the military, and somebody had passed, and I was sitting there, in intensive care, and I was the only one there, as where they had to run to the morgue and get everything to bring it back up. And I just stared at them. And I thought, how do you know you're dead? I mean, I know you're dead because there's a line that says you're dead, but how do you know you're dead? And I really got some great answers, not obviously from him, but from the universe, that just sat there, and it was a great conversation. That's how it works. Trust your downloads. Trust what you hear from the universe. I was thinking about somebody last night, and I was thinking, let me see, how many children do they have? 1, 2, okay, they have 4 children. And then instantly a voice popped into my mind, 5. I'm like, no, 4. Then I started laughing. I thought, well, another one's on its way. That's how this works. Who knows where it's coming from, whether, they get pregnant, they adopt, who knows? That's how it works. And you don't have to believe in Jesus or Buddha or Allah. You just need to believe there's a higher power, and you need to trust. And if you're like me, trust is hard. Trust is not the easiest thing for me. When I was a kid, trust never ended well for me. But you have to know that everything that's put in your path is put in your path for a reason. And it's up to you to find the reason. And every time you find the reason, and you may not find it at that moment. I mean, I can't tell you how many times when I was I want to say 11, 12 years old, I sat out in a snowdrift just sobbing, just begging Jesus or God or somebody to please just end it. Just let me move on. Let me move. You know, I didn't really know the concept other than the twins passing away. That was my concept of death. It was like, so I didn't want that because how do you know you're dead? But it was like, you know, just please. And I just prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed because I was so miserable and so unhappy. And then I just got a message, you know, a lady sat next to me and she's just like, it's going to be okay. We will get you to 18. When you get to 18, you can make your own decisions and you can do what you want to do. We'll get you there. Don't worry about it. And then you can start seeking your answers. I turned 18 and left home, joined the military, and that was it. But I don't know if I would not have had that person sit next to me, who obviously was a spirit, if I wouldn't have had what I would have done. So God will always send messages. It's just up to you to pay attention. It's up to you to ask the questions and trust your answers. And I think that's a lot of times we go wrong. We don't trust the answer. Because if you ask a question, what am I supposed to be doing with my life? And you get this grand vision that you're supposed to help heal millions so they can make millions, to donate millions. It's like, well, who am I to help 5 people? Until I accepted, I am here to help. I can remember probably 15, 16 years ago, I was sitting with somebody who really didn't know me at all. And we were sitting and I'm getting ready for a meeting. And all of a sudden she looked over at me and she said something, and I answered her question. And she said, change happens around Karen. So I'm looking around going, excuse me? And she just looked at me, smiled, and got up and walked out. I still don't know who the person was. So, I mean, I keep hearing that voice. So I'm standing outside in a parking lot 2 days ago. It's 115 here in Phoenix, Arizona. And I'm standing out in the parking lot and I'm talking to this person. And all of a sudden the voice came back into my head. Karen, change happens around Karen. And it was like, okay, I hear the message. So I'm going to be talking a lot more on deeper topics, a lot more in spirituality. I've kind of avoided that topic. I've avoided a lot of topics so as not to alienate people. But my gift is here to help people change, to find, and not change who they are, to step into who they're meant to be, to have the courage to change into who they're meant to be. So I hope this helps you guys. I hope everybody out here, I want everybody in the world to find their blue rose. I want you to know what your purpose is. Want you to know what your passion is. And I want you to go after it. I don't want you to be fearful about what people are going to think. You know, when I started selling supplements, I spent probably a week thinking, well, what are people going to think? You know, here I am selling diet products. I mean, I've lost weight off of it. I feel great, but you know, I'm just slinging diet products. I'm just slinging network marketing. And then I just got the message, follow your path. So when you hear your messages, believe it. And it doesn't necessarily mean you need to believe in God or Allah or any of them. You just need to know without a doubt there's a higher power watching over you, a higher power that loves you and wants what's best for you. But with everything, with good comes bad, with the yin and the yang of life. Because if you don't have bad, you won't know good. And if you have all bad, then you don't recognize good. And you need to recognize both. And if you need help, let me know. Reach out to me, please. Go to my Facebook, my free Facebook group, Blue Rose Community, and join the conversation on topics just like this. I hope this helped you guys. Have a great day. This is going to be 4th of July weekend in the States. Please be careful out there. Fireworks can be dangerous. I've had a few go off in my hand when I was a child. Just another experience. Be safe, be careful. Know that I love you and know that you are meant and you are great. Just step into it. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day.